This segment of JTV News is brought to you by Clarence Thomas Limited, Infinite Solutions, and Caribbean Sellers.
British Airways has announced it is set to cut the capacity of its flights to the Caribbean because of the UK's high air passenger duty tax. St. Lucia's Tourism Minister, Senator Alan Chastanet, says, as predicted by regional tourism ministers who have long lobbied against the air passenger duty, the tax is wreaking havoc in the industry.
They've gone from 12 flights a week to 7 flights a week into Barbados, and they've cut out Montego Bay altogether. But I am very happy to report that all the flights to St. Lucia, the daily flights, will remain. I know in discussions with the airlines and with the other operators, clearly the APD is playing havoc with the market. And when you look at the problems in the UK market from an economic perspective, and let's remember the 500,000 people that are being laid off, those people only start to be laid off next year, so we've not even felt the full impact on the UK economy as yet.
British Airways has decided to reduce its flights to the Caribbean and increase its service to Florida, a holiday destination that currently has a 20% lower tax rate than the Caribbean islands. According to British Airways, a family of 4 flying in economy class from the UK to the Caribbean would have to pay £300 in air passenger duty, which is double what a family from Germany would pay, while a family jetting from France would be charged just £15. The UK government is currently reviewing its air passenger duty levels for customers flying from the UK and is expected to announce its findings at the end of November. Low-cost carrier RedJet plans to introduce 3 new routes in late November, including to Antigua and Barbuda, which will be the first OECS country to be added to its itinerary. The direct flights between Barbados and Jamaica, Trinidad and Jamaica, and Guyana to Antigua will begin operating between November 21st and 22nd, bringing to 6 the number of routes serviced by the airline. The Barbados-based carrier already operates flights between Barbados, Trinidad, and Guyana, one of which was added earlier this month. RedJet has received permission to fly into St. Lucia and St. Kitts and Nevis. Royal Cayman Islands Police Service say they need more officers on the street to get the recent crime increase under control. This after Cayman records 5 murders in 8 days following the resurgence of the tit-for-tat gang-related shootings.
The RCIPS is getting over $4.5 million in new funding. This reverses budget cuts made over the past 2 years.
We need to make sure that a small number of criminals are not able to destroy or disrupt our communities, and we'll do everything possible in order to ensure that.
The Governor giving his full backing to the Commissioner. Around 50 police positions lost in previous cuts have now been refunded.
If we've got suitable candidates on island, we can move very swiftly on those. If we've got former officers who want to rejoin and they're the right people, we can move on those within weeks.
He also wants to address shortcomings the RCIPS has had regarding DNA evidence.
I'm looking to bring in a high-level forensic manager that can identify the best options, the best evidence, and make sure there is no failure in our processes so that our evidential opportunities are maximised.
He also expects a new tactical support unit to clamp down on hotspots and volatile areas.
They close down an area that we are seeing either additional criminality occurring or indeed people going in there and feeling they have a degree of immunity or impunity from law enforcement.
In the meantime, the Governor says they are continually assessing what other resources might help police.
I'm not going to rest until we've got some of these people put away properly.
Law-abiding citizens across Cayman, in the meantime, are eager to see some action.
We are losing our young men. We are losing the future of our country.
It is devastating, it is scary, and something must be done.
Troubled by the latest murders, Ethel Jackson organized the event.
Churches have failed. Homes have failed. The education system is failing big time.
The new measures being deployed include increasing from 25 to 45 the number of officers in the Uniform Support Group and Armed Response Unit. This increase allows a minimum of 4 armed response vehicles on a 24/7 basis. The number of officers in the Serious Crimes Task Force is also being doubled to 24.
I'm satisfied that we will have a group that is expected to kick the hell out of them.
Also, a tactical support group is being created to take control of hotspots and volatile areas, and will be trained and equipped to use tasers and other personal protection equipment. 13 officers will be attached to this unit. With more than $4.5 million in new resources for the RCIPS, Mr. Bush says he expects speedy action by Police Commissioner David Baines.
We have asked the Commissioner to move as quickly as possible to clear away some of the bureaucracy and put matters on fast track because the situation is that serious.
A level of severity that's hard to dispute. Ben Mead, Cayman 27.
The Organization of Eastern Caribbean States will soon introduce a multi-purpose identification system for the region. The OECS Common ID project follows the advent of the free movement of OECS citizens, which came into existence on August the 1st, and also comes in light of concerns that free movement could help increase crime in the region.
Soon, the Organization of Eastern Caribbean States, OECS, will use one common ID system. The initiative will first be introduced in Dominica, St. Lucia, Grenada, and St. Vincent and the Grenadines. It follows the August 1st implementation of the OECS free movement of persons. With free movement, OECS nationals can enter any territory within the sub-region and remain for an indefinite period in order to work, establish business, and provide services as well as take up residence.
What we have found is that in all the islands there are multiple IDs, and for the different islands there is no standard identification. And therefore what we hope to do is to advance the process by offering a multi-purpose ID with a schema that will allow us to identify each person uniquely and also where it is that the person is from.
Francis says the ID will also help to curb transnational crime in the OECS region. The initiative, she further added, will allow for a greater level of security and verify the credentials of any individual, as well as track down questionable elements.
No longer will be looking at paper-based systems, and therefore we will be able to eradicate some of the errors that we're having with regards to identifying people. And we're seeing this at the registry level where the systems are not automated. So it will allow us to verify persons and also capture persons who are illegal.
The initiative follows concerns from members of the St. Lucia Police Force who worry the OECS free movement of persons creates an opportunity for criminals to network. ACP Crime Francis Henry was particularly concerned about the proper registration of criminals.
The same way we seek as law enforcers to work through the region and we network, so to the criminals network. So it is going to be very challenging if we are not able to document particularly the movement, so when they come in we can know they came in, possibly where they are at, and just some form that would be able to identify them from your local people.
The multi-purpose identification system is expected to help restrain any potential criminal connection and prevent illegal entry into the OECS. The initiative could also provide a basis for detecting inconsistencies across existing ID documents and allowing for improved validation of identities. Sarah Peter, HDS News, Channel 4.
In a written ministerial statement to the House of Commons last week, Henry Bellingham, Britain's minister in charge of the overseas territories, announced that a new white paper would be produced and published in 2012, the Queen's Diamond Jubilee year. According to an article in Caribbean News Now, the white paper will focus on 3 practical policy goals. 1. To strengthen the engagement and interaction between the UK and the territories. 2. To work with territories to strengthen good governance arrangements, public financial management and economic planning where it is necessary. And 3. To improve the quality and range of support available to the territories. The implementation of these policies will take different forms in each territory, and UK officials are now engaging in discussion with the territories and UK's stakeholders to identify the priorities for action. The statement says all the leaders of the overseas territories will be able to discuss the white paper when they meet in London for the annual Overseas Territories Consultative Council, which will take place on the 23rd and 24th of November. This is Walter Barrett for JTV News.